I brought a prop for a little bit later.
Where is prop episode?
Yeah.
Did we not have a talk that we were going to be the podcast deadline primer episode, but now you brought prop? What's the prop? Just say it to show it now.
Oh, I got to bring it up in the moment, because when you're in the jungle, baby, I'm gonna watch you bleed in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Won't you take me to your days?
Yeah, so trade deadline's in 4 days.
We get a lot of shots. Everybody come to the net. We just have to get more and more pucks to the net.
I'm about to listen to Pucks on Net.
We used to talk about in Vancouver getting pucks on net.
Pucks on net. What were you saying about putting pucks on net?
This is JT Miller with the Vancouver Canucks, and you're listening to Pucks on Net.
Pucks on net and driving and making it a hard night on them.
Oh, yeah, live.
On tape.
I'm from one location. This is Pucks
Ooh, there
on
we go.
Net, a Vancouver-based
One location. We're from my apartment over the grounds.
I
of the
was
old-
about to say the one location.
Do you want to do it?
I mean, I always do it.
Well, let's hear you do it.
Okay.
I'm not looking.
Should I do it in an accent?
No, you just do it like you have to.
Yeah, no, live on tape. I was a busy man this week. Hugely busy man. Now, live on recording. This is this is Pucks on Net. It's a Vancouver hockey-based podcast located in one place this week, and not a myriad of locations. We are in Ryan Schapp's humble abode above the grounds of the old haunted Burger King. I will be your co-host, not the main one, but I am the co-host, Arash today, whom also lives down in the village of almost livable Deep Cove. The Prince of Pomegranate himself. I'm joined by my main host of this evening, the man that Slash didn't forget, the man that made Jack White, the man who discovered that 6 beers just sometimes it's just not enough. This main host, the Godfather. Wait, I got it. I got it. The Godfather of Vancouver hockey podcasting.
I'll take it. I'll take that.
I mean, everyone would say that. Everyone would say that.
What a lovely introduction. I like that when 6 beers isn't enough. So this is okay. I'm gonna calm you down right off the hop.
No, don't calm me down. This is a hot episode.
Okay.
So many things happened.
Okay. Let me do two things for you. No Gita on the show this week, but she does send her regards.
What's Gita up to? Let's lie. Since we know what's happening, but
she's
we're not
building a rocket in her backyard.
She is currently working for the Dallas Cowboys.
Honestly, based on her family's football allegiances,
yeah,
that'd be a dream.
Go Cowboys or Cowgirls.
She did point out how funny She did point out how funny it was on the weekend that they had the giant ticker for how many hours until the trade deadline. It was 115.
Dude, oh man,
that's too far.
Okay, before we get into the show, do you have a bit you want to go into real quick?
Okay, I want to make sure you go to, if you want to support the show monetarily, if you want video podcasts immediately, I don't post it. I don't go to bed until I post it. I also screw that up every week.
He doesn't eat food. He doesn't drink.
Patreon
doesn't go to the bathroom until it's posted, ladies and gentlemen.
Patreon.com/PucksOnNet.
Doesn't look his girlfriend in the eye and doesn't even respond to his dog.
Just render, babe. It's gotta go.
Shh, I'm rendering.
And if you don't want to support us, youtube.com/PucksOnNet. Go watch the podcast there Wednesday morning. Watch other clips. Mm-hmm. Hit subscribe. Smash the bell. I wanted to tell you off the top that when I get inspired with my Fraser Valley white guy music, it kind of all encompasses the show.
Yeah.
We've had Jack White related episodes. Metallica puts out a new song. Boom.
Yeah.
So I bought my Guns N' Roses tickets on Friday. I was ready. I was trying my best last night to do Guns N' Roses related NHL trivia for you.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you touched on the fact that this podcast is pretty white rock oriented.
Yeah.
I would love to have a 9-minute Jamie XX Pucks on Net intro where it's just like a house intro.
In this economy?
I mean, people wouldn't listen to it; they'd skip. Could you imagine? They're like, "What the hell?" It's the Kenny versus Spenny episode where it's just who is The one where they tried to be
Yeah.
really avant-garde and wasn't a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my Pucks on Net episode would have been like.
I believe it.
Yeah, that's great.
You'd
What's-
leave a lot of room to leave.
What's this?
Okay, so when I was justifying in our group chat about how important it would be for me to go see Guns N' Roses,
Yeah.
and I mentioned I had many hardcover books about GNR.
Yeah.
So I want you to read. This is a book. This is a biography I got maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
I would like you to read the title of the book.
Okay, this is the title of the book is "Watch You Bleed: The Saga of Guns N' Roses."
Okay, now I want you to open the book and read what was written on the first page.
Merry Christmas, Ryan. Love Grandpa and Grandma. Damn, what year was this?
Like 2010.
Okay, I was really worried. This was like the last Christmas, like 3 months ago, and I was like, "Oh damn!" No, listen. I absolutely get it. Was it a good book?
Yeah, it's fine. It's very encyclopedic. I just love the polarizing messages of "Watch You Bleed" and "Grandma and Grandpa Love You" at Christmas.
Okay, I have a quick question before we get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast.
Yeah.
Can you tell me one quick, really interesting fact about the riot in Vancouver involving Guns N' Roses? Do you have like a random fact about that night?
It was canceled prematurely by the concert promoters. Axl was flying. He was in the air. He would have been on Axl time, but they panicked and canceled it. So they canceled it before people could get inside. That's why all the damage took place outside.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 4 days until the NHL Trade Deadline.
732 hours.
732 hours away. And in this episode, I don't know, Ryan, should we break it down for the listeners what we focused on wanting to do?
Yeah.
I think we've decided that we're going to quickly touch base on the moves of the last, let's say, 48 hours, because there's a few moves there that are really interesting. But we're going to really want to go down the avenue that Ryan has taken the Eastern Conference. He's taken the fun guys. I've taken the in bed by 9 p.m. all work is done Western Conference things. Ryan's going to mention a few of the teams that we should look out for on Friday, sellers and buyers, and likewise, me too. I'm going to give you the rundown on the Western Conference narratives and teams that I think you should look out for. Obviously, the last 48 hours, a lot of moves, a lot of really interesting things that I think have kind of. It's really cool that we've seen these moves happen now, because when it comes to Friday, it's going to make general managers, especially both whom are sellers and buyers, from a seller's perspective, perhaps you have some players that, you didn't think you wanted to move. It just shifts the entire market of available players and whether or not certain teams, maybe didn't want to take term, and now they see that Timo Meyer's gone and Nino Niederreiter's traded and all this, and they're saying, okay, well, we actually don't have a breadth of things to pick from anymore. We Caroline, So right. Where should we start with the moves? The Timo Meier move seems to kind of the biggest one.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. I don't know. I think you should take the perspective of the Eastern Conference. Take the New Jersey Devils side of this.
Well, you have a consistent 30-ish goal scorer, 20-ish. Was it like 25, 27?
26.
So he is right in his prime. On paper, a lot was given up for him. A lot was also sent back for him on paper. I believe EA Sports NHL made the very accurate joke that you just keep adding players.
You might need to sweeten it just a touch.
You just keep adding players to make it happen, and that's what it kind of looked like.
Yeah.
Now, you were quite vocal about. A lot of people have been vocal saying, well, because the Devils didn't give up this player or that player.
Yeah, Dawson Mercer, Alex Holtz. Yeah.
They didn't give up those players, but they still gave up a lot. They gave up a lot of futures.
Yeah.
They gave up a lot of unproven futures. Their top 10 pick in 2022 or in 2021 was traded. A lot was given up, and it's not necessarily that big of a swing and a miss by the Sharks, if you ask me.
So I think when we're talking about moving big moves like this, the biggest thing that you're paying for when you're a buyer is the certainty of the player you're getting back.
Absolutely.
So of course, you're not making a trade for a player that you don't know exactly what they are and exactly who they are. And as a seller, you're motivated by getting back something that can be as clear as you possibly can be about the player coming back, as opposed to, my God, the box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much I've wanted one of those in Family Guy terms.
Mystery box has their limitations. It's a mystery box.
The limitations. So they get back. It was a 2023 first, conditional 2024 second. Shakir Mohammedoulin. I'm sure Brendan's going to kill me for that, but hey,
for hitting it on the first
Hey,
try.
pal, listen, at least I'm going to get canceled about that.
You said it, I mean.
We'll do it in post. We'll do it live.
No, you did it accurately.
Thank you. And then the couple captains, so Andreas Janssen comes back for the 3.2 of the cap, and on that, another defensive prospect, I forget his name.
Russian player,
but drafted in the second round. He's playing in the A. The problem I had with the deal is, so you got these picks, that's fine. You got these picks that are going to be in the 25 to 32 range. You got a defensive prospect that was drafted 20th in the first round, using ironically the JT Miller pick, the Canucks pick that they moved to JT Miller. So you've got these picks, and you've got this prospect that's kind of just in there, as Vasily Podkolzin scores his 3-1.
Hey!
Oh no, it's Aturatu. Was it Podkolzin? No, it's Aturatu. No, it's Podkolzin. Anyway, going back to it. So you have these pieces that come by that I don't know. I feel like you have. I understand that his qualifying offer was really high at $10 million, but you have who could arguably be the most premier young power forward in the NHL, someone who's forget 30 goals. Like he's getting into being a perennial 40 goal scorer. He's already up 31 goals this year. I just feel when you're looking at the Devils, and again, yes, not a lot of teams could take on Timo Meier probably long term with that QO. It's not like he can be traded to Tampa and then Tampa's able to give him his qualifying offer. Like Tampa's up against it, and we'll talk about Tampa in a second. But yeah, in my case, I would have taken out like that second, and I would have taken out the defensive prospect and like the fifth or whatever that's coming back. Of course, some of those players were there just to reach roster limits, because everyone has to be by 50 contracts, below 50. But I would have looked at someone like Dawson Mercer, Alex Holtz, who's in the AHL, like a tangible piece you can get back, that 2023 first, and Mohammedoulin or one of those pieces, and then I would have been like, okay. That's the perspective I had. I just felt like, what a slam dunk runaway. Now you have Jack Hughes with Timo Meier. The East. Oof.
That comes up to my next point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan, and I feel like if you think about recent history of big acquisitions at the trade deadline or near the trade deadline, good teams bolster their squads in outlier positions, in accoutrement, in accompaniment.
Yeah.
I don't feel too good about the New York Rangers somehow getting Tarasenko and Patrick Kane into this cluster fork all-star team and finding this chemistry that's going to work. I'm not 100% convinced about adding into your top six before the deadline. Now, these are two teams that have shown so much in terms of, like, the Rangers have. The Rangers looked like a cup contender, a cup favorite before they had Tarasenko. And you just add all these pieces, and, it's not an individual sport. You begin to mess with that chemistry,
right?
And you begin to muddy the waters, and the jam that works on the second line doesn't necessarily work with that on the third line and the fourth line. I could be horribly wrong, but I'm holding out. I'm not betting the farm on the Rangers or the New Jersey Devils for a playoff run right now because of these acquisitions.
Well, it's really interesting that we look at it that let's look at the Rangers for a second. Think about the potential top 9 that they could feasibly wheel out. Okay,
Yeah.
You've got. I'm just going to run by. Let's run it by. You've got Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider. Patrick Kane, hopefully by Wednesday, will be a Ranger as
former Canuck Patrick Kane,
former Vancouver Canuck Patrick Kane, All-Star, lover of Cavs. You have, let's just say, I don't know if maybe Tarasenko can play the wing, or left wing. So Tarasenko, Trocheck, Kane.
Yeah.
Then you got the kid line.
Sure.
That's.
Now,
and then I know we can talk about the defense and is Jacob Trouba and
let me ask you.
Keandre
Can I ask
Miller.
you a follow-up question? Remember how impressive the top 9 was in Florida last year?
Yeah, Florida. I just feel like what the outlier with Florida is that Andrew Brunette just completely got outcoached and he just did not adjust against Tampa.
Yeah,
he didn't adjust. Gerard Gallant again can be stubborn in his ways, but again, it's Patty Kane. As much as we have problems with him, like he's shown in the last week that when he wants to, he'll ruin your Connor Bedard chances as much as he'll go. So with the Rangers, it's a really interesting point that you bring up, just in terms of how quickly can these mega teams that are being created in the Atlantic and the Metro really mesh?
Well, and when can they mesh in time to? Obviously, not going to play the Tampa Bay Lightning, but you have some mega teams in the East that your Boston Bruins, your Carolina Hurricanes, that they're not adding too much, but they are a cohesive unit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is something that they're already juggernauts. And if you can't if Pat Kane doesn't work with Tarasenko or Zibanejad or Panarin, he obviously works with Panarin, I know, but you have these X factors in place, and that's why I'm so intrigued by the Boston Bruins. They go out and get Garnet Hathaway, 4th line right winger.
Yeah.
They go get Dmitry Orlov, 3rd pairing defenseman. They don't mess with that chemistry, and they don't mess with something that is it's mesmerizing, because I kind of was thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, Jim Montgomery is their coach again, Jim Montgomery is an NHL coach again. When did that happen? And in the summer they fired Bruce Cassidy, and it's wild to think that all of these pieces were there, and all it took was a bit of a direction, a bit of a mindset shift, couple of pieces here or there, and all of a sudden you have the most dominant NHL team in recent memory.
Well, especially in Boston's case, where it just seemed like this is going to sound really stupid, but it's like you're curing cheese, and just that 1 year, baby. It didn't taste right all the other years, but when it hit 24 years, oh my God, this is the thing that my family is.
And it was good cheese.
It was good cheese.
12 years ago.
12 years ago, and then the fashion turned again, and people are like, oh my God, Razor flip phones, so bad. And to quickly touch on Orlov, interesting thing with Orlov, I think he's definitely like a top 4 guy whom also can play both sides. So he can play lefty and righty, which I think is something good that they don't have to worry about it disrupting too many of the pairings and everything going forward. And for Boston, do they? I don't know. They don't need to add anything else, right?
Nope.
They don't need to hedge their bets too much. They filled in the holes as much as they could without bringing in, a pseudo superstar who's going to come into the room. And you saw, we saw when Linus Ullmark scores that empty net goal. And
that was incredible.
Man, you just saw the amount of love that squad had for each other. If it's Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark hugging,
how about Nick Foligno in the pregame where he's hugging Marchand, and he's like, man, a couple of years ago, last guy I'm going to be hugging his breath.
You
son of a bitch.
He looks over, he's like, you. Oh, I can't hate you. Oh, Pam. Oh, I can't stay mad at you, Pam. Oh, You're not. Pam, you're missing things. You're not taking notes.
Pam.
Pam Beasley. Pam.
Yes. Pam.
You're missing things.
I love.
Yeah.
I love. If you look at the photos, the Bruins posted a bunch of the reaction when he scored that the goalie goal.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot more than just Boston Bruin fans celebrating in the background. Canuck fans too are like, that's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot. But I am here for the Bruins. I mentioned the Kakalaki Hurricanes from the dirty South. We got
a bloody Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes with a gusher here. 4.9 seconds left. I don't have too much to touch on with the Hurricanes. They're going to be the spicy team come the end of the week. They don't normally do much a lot of the deadlines.
Yeah.
Last year they added Max Domi. He is your he's your duct tape. You when it comes time to put a middle six kind of skill sandpaper guy on any team, you love popping a Max Domi in there.
So it's really cool. So I'm thankful you brought up the Hurricanes because I want to get the Canucks out of the way on my side of things for the.
Well,
for the
what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish the East and go into a little sauce it and toss it, and then the sauce it and toss it leads into the West.
Okay, all right. Okay, Ryan.
So you want
Ryan's setting his. He's set. He knows how well he wants things to do.
I know this.
He's
menu.
not Jazz. He's Guns N' Roses. He shows up on Axl time. Meanwhile, here I am smoking a Parliament cigarette, wondering when can I get on the saxophone again.
Listen, the West is the spicy one.
You can listen to me and be like, oh, the longing in the notes. He must be hurt. Or is he trying to find something? I don't know. And then you go over to Ryan, who's like, you're gonna die! And then I'm like, all right.
Loaded like a freight train higher than an airplane. Feeling like a space brain one more time tonight.
He's had one beer. All right.
Tampa Bay Lightning, they're on the night train. They added Tanner Jeannot for every draft pick under the sun.
Yeah.
Cap Friendly put it into perspective that they essentially they gave up what it would cost for a team to offer sheet him, which intrigued me.
In what way did it intrigue you?
Well, it's like,
because I saw you post this, and I'm like, okay, I need a bit more context.
I'm intrigued that it wasn't just Breezeball being like, here's a first, here's a second,
right?
Here's a third. It's like, no, it's a little bit calculated. It's still a high ask, and it's exactly what they want, but it isn't just I'm adding things to the pile until you just accept it. Okay. It's not Phil Kessel, Brian Burke style.
I'm really wanted to talk to you. I'm glad you brought this trade up. I'm really glad that we get to talk about it. There comes a time, and hopefully we feel the same about this. There comes a time when you're a perennial contender that the lottery tickets that the draft gives you don't matter anymore.
You're already rich as hell.
You're already rich. So what do you need? You need to go after the very specific thing that you need because you have everything else. You don't need more of everything you already have. And so Tampa's mentality, you saw this with Brandon Hagel, and we saw it with Tanner Jeannot.
Nick Paul, too.
Yeah, Nick Paul, brilliant. Nick Paul as well. Is that what do they need? They need cost-controlled, young, effective players that they can re-sign to potentially longer-term deals at a reasonable cap hit to lock them in.
Yeah.
And knowing that other teams, this is the thing, that other teams around the NHL could not pay what Tampa did because they're not as rich as Tampa in terms of the players that they have in very key positions that they know, okay, we don't have to worry about Brainpoint, we don't have to worry about Kucherov, we don't have to worry about Vasa, we don't have to worry about Hedman, that they can go in and do this. So when you bring up the draft pick compensation, it's just like, I can understand the idea of like the offer sheet template, the offer sheet value, but also understanding that Tampa is playing a different game where they know the value of us finding efficient contracts for young players that can come into our lineup. And like, we don't need someone to come be the guy. We got a bunch of those people.
Got 4 guys.
We got 4 guys already being the guy.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. So when people are like super shocked, it's like it's like when you're playing a game and you're almost at the end of the game, and the game's like, hey, you go to a merchant and you're trying to buy something, and the merchant's like, well, the end of the game's coming up, the final boss is coming up, and we got this one item. It's like $50,000 in in-game currency. It's really expensive, but you're like, wait a minute, but I'm near the end of the game. So what the hell does it matter if I spend my money now? And so then you spend your money because you're like, screw it. I'm near the end of the game. I might as well have this one last thing I need. And then you just go for it.
Because the boys of summer are almost here. A baseball analogy.
Oh, God, please, no. Just what... In game 943 of this sweltering April day, Jose Maceda comes up to the plate. Man, my wife gave me a hot dog yesterday. One that's 0-1, strike wide.
With the pitch clock here, you're not able to tell these stories as slowly as you used to.
Let me tell you,
one ball outside.
Let me tell you this great story. So I walked into my wife with another man, and I didn't immediately...
That's an inside slider.
Inside slider, 1-1 count.
No, it's a 1-2 count.
It's 1-2 count. Anyway, I walked in. I did not immediately stab them, and I thought, what was this within me? And I didn't really know. I was a little upset.
Whoa, wild pitch.
No. The thing is, you just have to do it so casually. So I have to be like, and I didn't stab him because I deep down I wasn't hurt. That's ball one. And then, that's like the most entertaining. Castellanos out the left field.
But in postseason baseball, when there is no tomorrow, or where it's like everything with the Bolts, they have a championship window.
Yeah,
they are worried about right now. Alex Ovechkin. The Capitals are worried about one thing, getting him that win.
They do not care about anything.
And they shouldn't.
And the thing is, Ovechkin doesn't even care.
No.
Ovi knows. He's like, I don't care. I know why I'm here. I got my cup. Whatever. You guys can trade assets and make yourselves younger and think about a time post-Ovechkin.
Yeah.
As long as I still have a roster spot and I can just stay in this one place at the top of the circle and just blast pucks, you guys do whatever.
And nobody defends me for some reason.
Oh, I'm minus 40? I don't care. Do I have 40 goals? Fine, I'm closer to the...
I just met the deaf kid from Last of Us.
Hey, that's a good reference. He's a good actor. He's a good kid.
But in postseason baseball, you have your starters, you have your relievers. And when your ass is on the line, you don't go to your relievers, you get your starters, because you don't know if they're going to play in 2 or 3 days from now. Yeah. You need the best possible option, the best possible player on the mound, and that's what the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing. It makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Quick little I have a couple of tidbits, a couple of thoughts here.
Couple of musings. Ryan Schaap's musings.
Well, I've been watching. We kind of touched on it last week, but I am back on hockey.
You're back, huh?
There's reason to watch.
You'll come crawling.
And I am you're in here. I got 3 monitors going. I got games going every night. I've been watching the Pittsburgh Penguins a lot. And I've been watching Sidney Crosby still wait and make the perfect play. Yeah. The only problem is he's making the perfect play, and none of those teammates know how to handle that perfect play anymore.
Wait. Let's see Anson Carter. Anson Carter's absolutely picking JT Miller as the next captain, isn't he? On this panel. I don't know if you've seen Hockey Night in Canada. It's watching.
Not good. It's
not going to be good. Anson Carter's absolutely picking JT Miller.
So as you wait for these decisions for this, you talk about teams. There's a big logjam for wild card too. There is a huge logjam for the wild card teams. You have the Islanders in first, Sabres in second wild card, which is great. I believe this has changed though. The Penguins, the Red Wings, the Panthers, the Capitals, and the Senators. I'm watching the Penguins play hockey right now. They need to take a Senators-like approach and be like, I know we need to build around these 3 guys and try to win something with them. This is not the year.
Yeah.
They're so regular. They're so human. And you can't... Gone are the days of sticking anybody with Gino or Sid and it paying off. Love Brian Rust from Pontiac, Michigan, but he's not... This isn't 20... This isn't
Pontiac,
20,
Michigan, baby.
It's not 2016 anymore. I'd love to see...
Who else is from Michigan?
Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Yeah, but who else? Musician might be from Michigan.
From Michigan?
Yeah.
Jack White. From the southwest side of Detroit.
Guess what, guys? I know my podcast host.
I
know him pretty well.
I'm looking at some teams in the wild card that should build, should add this week. I want Buffalo to add. I want Detroit to add a little something there.
Something.
I think that Ottawa and Florida shouldn't do anything because, one, Florida, they don't need it. Ottawa, this isn't their year. They got a nice thing going, but it's not time. And I think the Penguins just ship off a couple of things. Get your Ricard Raquels out of there.
Are you not worried with Florida that, like, they're not getting rewarded for not making the playoffs this year? They don't have their first.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not
right.
too.
So, like, are you not a little worried if you're Florida to just be like, maybe we should make a little, maybe get like maybe a Luke Shen or something to get a little depth defenseman to make sure like we can actually make the playoffs. Or
how can they get Luke Shen? They don't have a first. See what I did there.
That's good. That's quality.
All right, everybody. Just want to thank you for getting this part in the podcast. Taking a little break here before Sauce It and Toss It. If you do want to support the show monetarily, you can head over to patreon.com/pucksonnet, where you can pledge a couple of bucks. $5 American to be exact. We'll get you immediate access to our bonus content, including 5 minutes for paying, video podcasts, Pucks on Net Discord access. Just about anything that we can give you, we will. Over at patreon.com/pucksonnet. $5 American a month. Every dollar that you give, we reinvest back into the podcast. Think about that. If you don't want to support us monetarily, we completely understand. You can go to youtube.com/pucksonnet. You can follow, you can subscribe, you can smash the bell, and you can watch video podcasts on Wednesdays. You can watch our clips, and you can do all that stuff. Watch our clips there. If you need a long English cucumber, I have 2 of them in the fridge here. We're almost out of baby bells, though. You can also support us by giving us a 5-star rating and positive review on Apple Podcasts. You can give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on TikTok. Yerky21 may be that sign over there. Ask that sign, I should say. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. We put content in there every week. Just follow all our socials. Just share our stuff. Spread the word. Force people to listen. Force people to watch. When you go into a Best Buy or a London Drugs, just turn our video podcast on all the computers and all the TVs there. They're not going to do anything. They won't throw you out. It's perfectly fine. But just help support the show, help grow the show, spread the word, have some fun, and enjoy it. We had a lot of fun this week, and it's time to get this train back on the tracks. Speaking of quality, let's do a little segment that we all love. What do you say?
Let's go. Let's speed. Can we speed run it?
I mean, Sauce It or Toss It is intended to be a speed run.
Let's go speed run.
Well,
because I really want to get to the West. I'm jimmying up to get to the West and talk about the Western Conference.
I really like that you're jimmying for it because we were talking about this the day before yesterday. And I'm like, man, there's nothing to talk about in the West.
I can't believe when Ryan said that in my most polite way. I was like, okay.
I was wrong.
So why don't I give you the Eastern Conference and I'll take the Western Conference and just vamp for 45 minutes? Well, do you know the best thing about the conference that doesn't do anything is that they haven't done anything, so I can tell you what they're going to do. Sauce it and toss it, Ryan. Go.
Sauce it or toss it. Sauce it or toss it. Sauce it or toss it.
The Seattle Kraken need a goalie.
Toss. They absolutely do not need a goalie.
What?
They don't need a goalie. They've gotten this far. I think if the Seattle Kraken get a goalie, it kind of the whole fugazi, it's a fuzi, it's a wazi, it's a fairy dust thing. It'll evaporate them. I might be crazy, I might be stupid. Get Martin Jones is there. Run Martin Jones. Figure out your goalie later. Figure him out later. It's fine. It's not like you have an expiring contract that you're like, oh God, Matt Beniers is a UFA after this year. Who cares? You're in the second league. Just go for it. Get in the playoffs. Give those Seattle boys and girls, and everything, every
Boys
color
and girls
in between.
only?
No,
You gonna get canceled here?
that's what I was trying to say.
Speaking
It's
of getting
all colors of
canceled,
the rainbow. Yes.
sauce it or toss it, Arash, and they better not be saucing this.
Come
the
on.
Vancouver Canucks eating ice cream before a hockey game.
Sauce it. Are you kidding me? Ice cream before a game? Treat yourself. I ain't gonna fat shame the Vancouver Canucks. How dare you, Mister? Every Thursday I get a pint.
That's the old rhyme. I can't do that anymore.
What kind of Taylor Swift lyric is this? That was the old.
I work on Fridays. now.
Hello, this is the new Ryan. The old Ryan, he got diabetes and died.
How do you I did want to say that I thought back sometimes.
I'm gonna sauce it with fucking caramel fudge.
Some of my
over.
best runs, some of my best 10-kilometer times did happen after I ate a bit of ice cream.
Okay, well then there you go. That answered itself. Next.
Sauce it or toss it. Jacob Chikrin sitting out this many games as the Coyotes wait for a trade.
I don't know. Sauce it? Like, the only reason I would toss it is like you can't renege from this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way in which you go up to Jacob Chitrin and be like, oh, hey, yeah, we in trade you. Can you just come in and play hard for the Coyotes? For the friend, we need you, pal. I'll owe you one, pal. It's been like 2 years you've been trying to trade this guy, and that's the other thing.
Why can't they trade him? I thought he was highly
because
touted.
they've put on a Chris Pronger-esque tagline to him, and they're I don't know. I think like it's also a pretty coy negotiating tactic where you price something so abhorrently high that, you know, when you ask, if I was in the position where I'm asking the Arizona Coyotes, I'd just be like, okay, yeah, but what's your actual price? Because there's no one is going to pay the price you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to set a precedent where you're showing you lowered your fake price, so you're conceding something where you're not. You've just inflated a price. It's like any type of sale where it's like, actually, hey, this cheese is on sale for only $9 for a brick. It's down from $11. No one's gonna pay $11 for a brick of cheese. Get out. Here, next.
I like that.
Zoomer.
I love all of a sudden he has all these defensive issues and he's a liability.
Yeah, I do. I do love that.
He's Justin Schultz now.
I'm like, wait a minute. In the media, I'm like, weren't we talking about this guy being like God mode? And now it's like, oh, we don't even know if he could block a shot.
The Oilers are worried about his defensive ability.
I love the narrative. I love. It's like, yeah, they might not go get Jacob Chikrin. They might just settle for Shane Gostisbehere. Two very different defenses. I love Ghost. I love Ghost Bear. I think anyone that's able to get a Shane Gostisbehere jersey for one of the all-time names of all time.
Absolutely.
Next.
Sauce it or toss it or Rash. NHL goalie goal.
Sauce it. It's so cool. It's awesome. That was the one. I was sitting there with my dad watching Linus Ullmark get that goal, and like we weren't upset. We were both like laughing and being like, "That's so cool! We finally saw one."
I think it really unites everybody watching that game. And it's like it is a very special.
I thank God that I didn't listen to the NSNBC Jack Edwards one, where it's like, and Linus Ullmark scores a goal to unite Boston and the greatest country on this earth, the United States of America, with our liberties and our freedoms. Oh God! Oh Lord! You know,
I wish he sounded that energetic anymore, but he literally. We are concerned about his.
I wish
he sounds like he's jet lagged all the time.
I wish that Jack Edwards did not block me on Twitter just so I could bully Jack Edwards. Wait, I can bully him on the PON account. Never mind. Sick. I got the login.
There you go.
Hey, remember when you called Pat Maroon fat?
And he still is like, yeah.
And then you went to apologize, and then Pat like ripped your ass a new one.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here, Jack. Fuck.
Sauce it or toss it, Arash.
Yeah.
There's one good goalie in the Western Conference.
What? Toss? What? No. What is this? Connor Hellebuck, UC Soros. Don't give me that. UC Soros is great. Connor Hellebuck. Shit. Artur Silovs. He's got a 908. Wait, no. That's the right done. Georgiev's pretty good. He's not. Georgiev's good. He's not. He doesn't have an 898. He's good. Yeah, Bennington sucks. To be fair, John Gibson is having like one of the greatest months of goaltending in NHL history.
That was very funny.
Yeah, Archer still lost.
No, I got Connor Hellebuck and Sauce it or toss it, Arash.
Yeah.
Paying $200+ for a nostalgia concert.
I'm gonna sauce it. I feel like everyone has their one or two shows that like you like. Hey man, listen. Me and my dad in April, we're going to the Distant Worlds Final Fantasy Orchestra concert.
They say that's the Guns N' Roses of video game scores. Is that true?
No, Doom would be Doom, dude. I would love to go to like the Orpheum where the guy who does the Doom metal songs is just shredding, and people come in and just like start just pretending they're in Doom. No, it just means a lot to me. The composer of a lot of Final Fantasy games, Nobuo Uematsu, very close to me and my dad's heart, just in terms of how we first bonded over music and art and stuff like that. And yeah, he's also like one of the most insane composers of our generation.
You know, me and my father can go to concerts too. It's not just a Memorial Day thing.
Yeah, except me and my dad. No, I got a perfect answer to this. Ryan, you and your dad go to concerts in which you guys like crush beer and talk about chicks. Me and my dad go to concerts where we both have a tasteful glass of wine and are in bed by 9:30.
Listen,
I
don't know what impression you got of my father, but he'll
Dude,
have
your dad will tie one on. I'm so afraid to drink with your dad because I'm like, oh no, this is what being a man feels like.
You would drink him under the table.
No, absolutely not. Are you kidding?
My mom would take care of business.
We're taking care of business. Trade deadline day.
Speaking of taking care of business, the trade deadline day, and to serve as a lovely segue into the West.
Yes.
Sauce it or toss it, Arash. The Calgary Flames should be sellers.
Yes, sauce it. Absolutely sauce it. 100%. No. Actually, you know what? They do need to be sellers because they haven't fired Darryl yet. If they fired Darryl a month ago, and that you could see like, oh, hey, it was Darryl and his complete inability to have any form of creativity in his offensive structure of his games. Oh yeah, that would have been, and then whatever. Can I talk about the Western Conference now? Are we done? Can I get into it? Ryan?
Listener submitted sauce it or toss it.
Okay, go
trade related reasons.
Okay. Toss. Stupid.
Toss
so
it.
stupid.
That comes from Michael. And then we'll touch on this in a bit. I want a very quick sauce or toss, and then you can go to it. Richard R. Smith, Cool Indian 101.
Oh,
sauce.
Wait, Richard R. Smith?
Yeah.
Roger R.
What am I saying? Sorry, my dad's
Roger,
name is
I
Richard.
would like to formally apologize.
I apologize
Ryan's
too.
had one Coors Banquet.
They're not called banquet beers anymore.
Why not?
They're just called original.
Why can't you call them banquet beers?
Because they don't know that.
Is that not PC or something? Whatever.
No, but look, the 20-something server at It's Okay, I asked for a banquet beer, and she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, they're Coors Original.
And I'm like,
Coors Banquet. They're called...
Back in our day, it was Coors Banquet.
No,
See, now...
No, you can't do that.
Roger R. Smith, sauce it or toss it. The Canucks trade for Vitaly Kravtsov.
Oh, Ryan.
How do you pronounce that? Kravtsov?
I'm not going to tell you because I don't even.
Kravtsov.
No, Vitaly Kravtsov.
Yeah, sauce it or toss it.
Sauce it. 100% sauce it. It's next to one of like the freest assets you could get. William Lockwood in a seventh is for like 3 years from now. Absolutely nothing.
Are we starting with the Canucks in the West?
Yeah, we are. Very quickly, but just to talk about Rogers' question.
Yeah.
Or sauce it. Is that, the Canucks have done some really great tidy pieces of business. If it was the move today, Riley Stillman to Buffalo for Josh Bloom, a third-round draft pick of the Buffalo Sabres in 2021. Again, 19 years old, like producing in the OHL. For Riley Stillman, who also has a year left in term, like that's money. That's money. Great.
I would
sign off on that 100. Yes, chip away. Perfect. We'll love it. 100%. But to just break down the Western Conference, I think going into Friday, understanding that the Eastern, mainly it's like the Atlantic, and we're waiting for a few Metro teams to really make their moves. A lot of the big pieces have moved, so it's like Timo Meier out of here. We're waiting for Jacob Chychrun, and we're kind of waiting to see what moves certain Western Conference teams will do. I want to talk about the Canucks very quickly just to get them out of the way because I know a lot of our listeners are Vancouver Canucks listeners.
There's also a lot of uncertainty with the Canucks that we can only fantasy book so much time on this podcast.
No. That's I want to talk about other teams. I just want to get it out of the way. It's just because I know, again, like, we're not a hockey podcast based in like Nunavut. Okay, I'm sorry. We're in Vancouver, British Columbia. We're going to talk about the Canucks as part of the shtick. Going into Friday, I think you've looked at the two moves that they've made, Vitaly Kravtsov and obtaining Josh Bloom. They've cleared money with one move. They've used pretty much free. I mean, listen, William Lockwood did not have an NHL future here. He just didn't. He wasn't really an asset, and he was a UFA after this year. A seventh 3 years from now, that's nothing. It's nothing. Now, the one issue with Vitaly is that, okay, now you bring him in, you have to have two things mainly for him. You have to give him a stretch run of time in the top six. You have to give him some power play time just to see how he acclimates and if he can actually produce. And the second thing is he's going to bolt to the KHL. Not that he's going to, but he might. That's one of the bigger narratives. But again, believe in Dan Milstein. Believe in the Russian connection that's happening in Vancouver. Believe in Andrei Kuzmenko in his brilliant smile, and Sergei Gonchar and everyone. Now, in terms of moves that the Canucks could make, we're all waiting for Luke Schenn. I don't think the Luke Schenn thing will be totally crazy unless they're going to package Luke in a bigger thing to whatever. You brought up the Carolina Hurricanes. I know we talk about JT Miller. I'm going to talk about JT Miller for 30 seconds. When Timo Meier was moved, the secondary market for wingers opens up now. So players like Brock Besser, Connor Garland, even JT Miller, teams will come back to this and say, okay, well, we're not picking, the Kobe beef cuts of the trade deadline and who's available and all this. Besser and Garland, obviously, they have term. They're expensive. We'll see what happens to them. Hopefully, I hope we see Brock Besser move for him. Mm-hmm. I hope there is some way that they could get him to Minnesota.
That'd be amazing.
Like if Minnesota, even if the Canucks wanted to spend like an asset to have like another team retain a little bit and the Canucks retain like a little bit and they can lessen the load and I don't know, they get Dumba back and they can flip. It doesn't matter. It's just one of those. The reason I want to bring up JT Miller is that the interesting fact with Miller and what's going on is that because the market is softening and also the free agent market is softening for the upcoming free agency period in July. Mm-hmm. Teams can look at JT Miller and think, well, we could literally do, if we're cap compliant and we figured it out, if we can trade for JT Miller and obviously not give like a super premium asset, but like a bundle of little things, and we could get JT Miller, hey, we've done our UFA shopping. That's our UFA because his contract kicks in. And the team I would link this to, and my big hypothesis idea that I've pitched on the podcast, is JT Miller, Carolina Hurricanes, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, JT Miller, 1-for-1. That's 4.82 for $8 million. Yep. The Canucks get that center that they need for the future in terms of a low floor of a third line center to hopefully, maybe he turns into a 50-point guy who can be on your second line, maybe whatever. But the floor is, oh my God, you have a young third line center who's signed for like the next 7 years. That's great. Carolina gets another weapon for as long as they want, in terms of 7 more years. They get that weapon and they get flexibility in terms of their forward position, so Miller can play the wing, he can play down the center, and they get him now when they need him. They're contending. They're first in their division. Go. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with the Canucks. We'll see what happens with Thatcher Demko. Again, I think from the moves that you've seen, you should be excited, be open, and we'll see what happens on Friday. Yeah. Now, in terms of other teams that I really wanted to talk about, Calgary you brought up. I think it's too late for Calgary. I think if they wanted to do anything, they should have fired Darryl. and seeing if Daryl was the problem. Maybe getting a coaching boost somehow, some way, whatever. It's too late now. Like Markstrom is having, he's not having a good year in any metric. It's not going well. It's not going good. Jonathan Huberdeau,
also,
I think one of the worst like follow-up seasons you could have to like 112 or 116 points.
He had a lot, yeah.
He had a lot of points. So that's another. Edmonton. It's Ken Holland.
Well, on the subject of Calgary,
yeah,
you and I were talking, and it's like they have 2 games before the trade deadline. They're 4 points out of the wild card.
Well, they needed like that game against Colorado. I mean, like
they needed that.
You needed that, and you stunk it up.
And do you know who they're playing this week?
Colorado again?
No, they're playing the Boston Bruins.
No, they're done.
And then they're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs on Thursday night.
Yeah, no, it's done.
So,
it's a game over.
I mean, it's too late to bring in Bruce, but if there's somebody,
I think it's too late.
I don't even know what they have if they have much to sell off to a contender that night.
Well, I mean, they could always move like Toffoli and move out a couple little pieces here and there.
I think they
then
should.
again they could just like go. This is the thing with Calgary, and we've seen like they're not especially conservative. They could be buyers. They could like go and get Luke Shen and be like, yeah, Daryl said we were one Luke Shen away from Jonathan Huberdeau getting it all back together, like whatever.
Huberdeau needs Brock Besser.
Yeah, Huberdeau needs Brock Besser. So we'll see with that. Edmonton, again, man.
Same old.
Like, yes, they've been looking at Nick Bjugstad and Shane Gostisbehere out of Arizona. I mean, we'll just see. We'll see what happens. But again, like, I just do not like. There's a time limit to this in which Connor leaves.
Yep.
It's the same with Austin and Toronto. There's like Kyle knew this. Kyle Dubas knows this. That if he doesn't get out of the first round, he's not going to be here. I mean, the moves that he made, I thought were very strong, especially the move he made today.
Yeah.
From Sam Lafferty and Jake McCabe, both have term at reasonable cap.
Can I make a old man joke?
Yes.
Is this 1994? Are the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Western Conference? What are you talking
about? Felix Potvin and but
that's a good joke.
I know, but again, you got me going.
They made smart moves, and
you brought up Toronto. You brought up Toronto. I said the West. Mugs and jugs. Okay. And just looking forward, like more down. St. Louis has kind of done their business. LA again, really interesting because we talked about being wealthy. In terms of, just in terms of
they're flush.
Like, well, no. Well, we talked about being wealthy in terms of like your on ice pillar players. They are wealthy in terms of like they're overflowing with prospects.
Yeah,
overflowing. And at one point, okay, do you figure out your goaltending thing now? Do you figure it out later? Do you roll with Phoenix Copley and decide that that's the route that you want to go? There's that. The other team, again, Minnesota. I think what happened with Minnesota is that it's not that Minnesota's bad. They just weren't as good as they thought they were going to be going in.
Yeah.
And Bill Guerin is in a really difficult position now where he just, in terms of having, like, he knows, like, you're going to get bumped with this the cap recapture for or the buyouts for Ryan Suter and Zach Parise. So there's that trepidation there. But would they make moves? Like, again, they wanted to move Jordan Greenway, who's having a very bad season, who's signed with term. Again, 6'6" winger who, ironically, is more of a playmaker than anything. Matt Dumba is going to be a UFA. He might be moved for something. I don't know how happy they might be with Kalen Addison, who's produced on the power play, but again has defensive deficiencies up the wazoo. And so when we look at the Western Conference, we're also looking at, like, again, Colorado made one move with Jack Johnson. They brought him back. Yeah. Hey, old familiar, whatever, works for you. That's great.
They say he's the Luke Shen of the Metro Division the Central Division.
They say he's the Jack Johnson of the NHL. Because there's only one Jack Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. There's only one. Bruce Springsteen tonight is gonna be playing, baby. God, I love that, my Lou impression. But yeah, Petey on the breakaway, shorthanded. Come on, Forsberg. Oh, he almost went. Nothing wrong with a little 5-hole action.
But
Bruce Springsteen invented the 5-hole.
Colorado doesn't need to do anything. Their team's getting healthy. This juggernaut is reforming.
Landeskog is going to be in the lineup for Game 1. We all know that.
Doc, it's the damnedest thing. The whole team's ready to go for Game 1.
Oh, Doc, it's the damnedest thing. I just had to turn my router on and off, and my knee's all good. The radio waves, those 5G signals, am I right? So we'll see what the West. Yeah, we'll see what the West. I mean, 'cause, again, Winnipeg added Nino Niederreiter. They have a weird thing with Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's he's looking
one foot out the door.
He's one more RFA a year away from being like Montreal, Poutine, whatever. So yeah, and just in terms of the West, we'll see. I wanted to talk to you, and now that I've talked about the West for a little bit, because really, I mean, we could talk about the sellers as well. I mean, Arizona is going to be Arizona.
Arizona's selling?
They're always selling. They're always going to be selling everything. They're just going to be selling all the time.
Hey, we've got nothing but highly touted prospects that don't want to play here.
Because they're sick of losing all the time because we're just always rebuilding. Isn't it really interesting to you, like especially in the Eastern Conference, Ryan, that these teams that have made these mega moves, like Toronto and Tampa, New Jersey, New York, like two of these teams, if we were to start the playoffs today, Toronto would be playing Tampa. Mm-hmm. New Jersey would be playing the Rangers. Two of those teams that have given up mega assets would be out.
Yeah, and that
not so? If you're the West, like just in your head, are you like, oh, we don't need to be scared of the fact that all these teams in the East are making these moves?
Yeah,
because we only have to deal with one of them, and whatever team comes out of the East is going to be like you've went through Dante's Inferno. You're already burned to a crisp.
Will they go through hell on earth, or they're just like good skilled teams? You have how many like aggressive teams are going to be in the Eastern Conference that are going to beat like the Islanders? Maybe you have the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I think
that can do it.
Tampa, Boston.
Yeah.
Like again, the playoffs are the playoffs, right? Like that's the thing. Like I don't think Toronto like. Again, like Tampa got Tanner Jeannot, who's like one of the big. He's a moose. He's a goddamn unit. And then Toronto's like, all right, Jake McCabe, get out there and hit.
So you're gonna
Sam Lafferty, you better hit. Oh no.
I do agree, and I believe that in one way or another, two dragons will be slayed and are out of the equation.
Right.
And depending on if you're a Leafs fan or not, that's why you're calling for a change in playoff format. But if you're the West, like, I mean, Dallas and Winnipeg are heavier teams. Mm-hmm. Vegas sometimes.
Winnipeg, yeah. Winnipeg's a heavier team. Vegas is a heavier team. You got William Carrier, Keegan Colasar on there. Ivan Barbashev they picked up.
Yeah.
Vegas is another team. I don't know how many moves they're going to make, but
there's some things here too. But like, I feel like whoever comes out of the West is going to be in good shape.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Colorado Avalanche.
No, Ryan, give me like what's the one thing you want to wake up like Friday at like 2:30? What's the one trade you want to see? Like we're fantasy booking here.
Brock Besser gone.
Yeah, for what? What do you want?
I don't care.
You don't care what it is?
He's somebody like the Canucks have their hopes and dreams and their prospects.
Yeah.
And they did it whether they produced or they didn't. And he's just kind of hanging out, and the Canucks are making some good strides in the right direction.
Yeah.
And with the players they're accumulating, with the deals they're doing, I don't having him making almost $7 million doing what he's doing.
6.6, yeah.
Is not for me. JT Miller is going to be polarizing wherever he goes, but he's going to produce. Connor Garland, he is on my Sheldon Dries island of irrelevance.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for for Brock to go somewhere else, change the scenery, see what he's really got, and it's just that's something that's been in the rear view. He wore the RBK Edge jersey.
Yeah,
he's been playing here too long.
Yeah.
And it's nothing about him personally, but that, and I don't think I'm curious what his compete level's like, what his work ethic is like. I'm curious. I'm not saying it's bad, but when it comes to him, there's always a lot of unknowns, and I'd rather have somebody come in here that plays and works the way Rick Tocchet talks about.
Okay.
Work your ass off, be in good shape,
Yeah.
have that killer instinct. Not saying he has it, not saying he doesn't have it. There's unknowns with him, and there always has
I
been.
asked you for like a move, and you gave me. I didn't ask you. Explain to me why you find Brock Besser's hotness intimidating.
He's not even the hottest Canuck.
Who's the hottest Canuck?
The hottest Vancouver Canuck is... There are two. Luke Shen.
Luke Shen does look like Carl.
And
Carl, my girlfriend's amazing brother who's now a father. Congratulations, Carl. You do look like... Carl looks like a more attractive Luke Shen. So, Carl, if you're listening, text me and we'll figure this out if that was insulting or not.
Andrei Kuzmenko.
Yeah, I was going to say...
fuck.
No. It's not that he doesn't give a fuck. It's that how rare do you find like hockey players who just fucking smile? It's the reason why Jason Spezza is hot.
Yeah.
Because he just like charms, and Gita's like, well, if I can't have Jason Spezza...
Reed.
Come
on down. Okay. You wake up Friday morning as a Canucks fan.
Yeah.
What is your Christmas day?
Well, listen. Everyone in this market...
Now, let me remind you.
I know.
You can't provide context like I did, and that was...
Okay.
I was banished.
I have two very quick. My number one thing is if they somehow move off the JT Miller contract, I will host at Pomegranate a massive pizza party for like 20 of our listeners. I promise. I will make this promise now. If JT Miller is moved on Friday, I will throw a "Oh my God, we got rid of the grenade" pizza party on in some time in the future.
I am clipping
for
this.
Not. Oh my God, Anthony Beauvillier again.
Trade him.
Sick, trade him, baby. But the one move I would say, you know, what crazy move is? Jacob Chychrun to the Ottawa Senators.
Oh.
I think Ottawa is... Pierre Dorian is in this position with the new ownership, potentially selling a new ownership group, where he's like, they're like, okay, you can't bring new money in, but if you move money out, you can bring money in. What did they do with the Zaitsev move? 4.5.
There you go.
I'm saying
I'd love it for them.
I would love it for them too. It'd be great. And then Anthony Beauvillier for 2 first round unprotected 2 first round picks. He's outscoring Horvat now.
The Canucks now have 5.
This is why like this is the thing I just wanted to scream from the mountaintops for so long, is that Vancouver Canucks fans, do not be afraid of letting go of players because you're afraid, how will we ever find other players? You just found this guy who the Islanders have been trying to move for 2 years, and he comes in and he's outscoring the guy he got traded for. The captain, the guy who's like, oh, we can't trade Bo.
Yeah.
Bo's so good. No, wait, but Ryan.
But we love Bo.
Ryan, but we love Bo, and he's so good. And what does that... Ryan, I'm going to come close to you now. Ryan, what does that say about us if we do something bad to a good guy? If we trade a good guy...
They won't love us anymore.
They won't love us anymore, and they'll think we're They'll... Wait for it. They'll think we'll be exactly what they think we are.
Not hot enough for him? Not successful enough for him?
And not a good enough personality to make up for the lack of hotness.
Damn, I know.
This is Pucks on Net, a Vancouver Hockey podcast. But yeah, no, I think just wrapping it up on that sense. I'm really interested. I'm just super interested to see what a secondary market that is created now. Like, I think I'll leave the listeners off with this in terms of trade deadline is... We've all been bombarded with the same rumors and insights and whatever of players. I think when it comes to Friday, we're going to see some moves being made with players that we didn't think exactly would get moved.
Yep.
Because the market has now shifted. There is no Timo Meier. There is no Tanner Jeannot or Bo Horvat or whomever you want to go down.
Yeah.
Like the Dennis Gurianov for Evgeny Dadonov trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting little move.
You never thought he would be on that.
Well, no, not that you'd never think they'd be moving, but like that's two wingers. Like Denny Gurianov at one point, like penciled in to be like a 40 goal.
Absolutely.
He was a unit, especially during the playoffs and everything.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited, and I cannot wait to wake up slightly early on Friday, and like maybe 9. I'll wake up 9.
Slightly early.
I always
9.
I wake up early now. I used to be a degenerate.
Yeah,
I used to wake
were.
up, and now I wake up at like 9:30.
You should be. Yeah. If you
And
wake.
now I feel good about myself because I'm like the days are longer. Hey, no Juleson, friend of
Jewel.
of Carl. This is the Carl Blecker podcast.
Let's move on to some questions, and I'm introducing a new.
Okay.
I'm introducing a new format.
What's the format?
In that I am decreeing one of these the question.
I
of the week.
love that you just used the word decree. I want you to have like a bell.
Yeah, and I'm anointing one of these questions has been decreed. I'm decreeing, and I'm anointing the question of the week.
Okay.
And if somebody gets 3 questions of the week, they get a prize.
What would be the prize?
I mean, there'll probably be a shirt when we get them made, but
Nice.
There is incentive for you, the listeners. So I'm going to decide. The last question will be the question of the week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to an easy one here. This one comes from Travis Elliott. It's a big brain one.
Yeah.
The NHL has chosen. This is Travis Elliott, Mile High Travis. I'll be rendezvousing with him in Seattle with you through peer pressure. To watch a baseball
we'll see if my mom gets back from a run.
Well, I'll tell your dad. It's fine.
No, you can't because I'm not going to let my dad work alone.
We'll just close the shop down. It'll be fine.
Okay, that's a lot of money that we're going to lose on that.
Tell your brothers to get to work.
Yeah. If my brothers actually listen to the podcast, yeah, come down and fucking work.
The NHL has chosen you to select a franchise for relocation. However, the goal is to establish a new regional fan base. So you have to move a successful or popular franchise and give it a place that would quickly adopt and love it just as much as the old location. Who are you moving? It's a very easy one in my opinion.
So you have to move a popular team from a city to like a city that would immediately also carry on the popularity.
That's correct.
Okay, what's yours?
The Colorado Avalanche.
To where?
Quebec City.
Suck it, Travis. Suck it. You asked the question and Ryan just no mercy leg swept you and put you in a fatality.
If only there
you
was
degenerate piece of crap.
If only there was a 21,000 vacant
Videotron Arena.
And it could be any city,
yeah.
But it's a young, exciting team. It's well built, it's well managed, and they're going to be good for a while. So you could pluck them up, pop them anywhere.
Yeah.
In North America.
I would move the Vancouver Canucks to Tokyo, Japan. Not only would they be like one of the coolest sports, but we'd also get to just do the expansion draft when we get the 33rd team in Vancouver. So, yeah, baby, let's go. Arigato gozaimasu, gozaimasai. Arigato gozaimasu. I'm not. That's actually not being insincere because that's actually how you're supposed to say arigato gozaimasu.
Is that okay? So if somebody
sumimasen, it's sumimasen, which is like excuse me, but like it's weird. You don't even have to say the full thing. You can be like sumase.
If a Japanese listener or Japanese speaking listener or viewer can chime in on that,
If you speak Japanese,
Gmail.
understand that I also know the words for water, which is mizu, and then beer, which is biru. I'm not being a degenerate. It's actually.
Maybe I'm looking for a little affirmation about how good of a job you're doing. I'm not trying.
I'm trying my best not to get canceled. I've worked really hard the last 3 years to build like a modest little platform for myself, and I don't want my dad to be like, "Dad, it happened."
I got canceled. Pomegranate's got boarded up.
Pomegranates, we're done. They took away our pizza license. The district of North Vancouver took away our pizza license.
Nothing livable about that.
Nothing livable.
Jeff C., North Coast Hab 87. Can I be forgiven for wanting Toronto to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round only because I'm so sick of Tampa Bay winning all the time?
No, Jeff. Absolutely not. Absolutely. How dare you, Jeff? You've hurt me.
And he's a Habs fan.
Oh, come on! Jeff, we just brought the Nordiques back. Jeff, help us out. No, I will never. Fully understanding, we have Toronto Maple Leafs fans who listen to the podcast, and I love every one of you. I just don't love your hockey team. But I will never ever get sick of a bunch of those vaping kids getting together in Jurassic Park or wherever it is, and then being like, "Yo, man." Victor Hedman, he can't score like that, man. Oh, my mango vape, Mom. I need my pods.
So
Mom, the vape store and my pods, my mango, they only have cherry. I don't like cherry, Mom, I can't.
Pick me up at Jurassic Park.
Pick me up at
Maple Leaf
Young
Square.
and whatever.
Oh no, Young and Dundas.
Mom, pick me up at Young and Dundas, please.
Outside the Much Music building.
Oh, come on. Mom, remember that one time you were at Electric Circus? That is the biggest reference. Okay, this is the thing. If you understand my Much Music Electric Circus reference, you DM me, and we're just going to be best friends.
Electric Circus, not to be confused with French Kiss. I will be in Toronto last weekend of April. Probably doing a remote podcast from there with you. And the Mariners are playing the Jays. It could the first round of the playoffs should be going on then. So
I can't wait for it to be raining.
There's a roof.
Boo. Oh, that's why they call it the Sky Dome.
Kaya on Twitter.
Oh yeah, big shout out to Kaya
fan.
for usurping us and being way more popular and cooler than we are.
Yeah.
Hey, what is that?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm just saying.
Can we trade Patrick Kane to a bottomless pit? I hear the deal is 1-for-1. It's done.
To a bottomless pit?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call a cab for him.
Or a limo, but he can't wear your shirt.
The thing is, this is the thing with that question is we can actually call a cab for him because if the bottomless pit is truly bottomless, the cab will never stop. Thus, we never have to pay the cab driver because our journey is still going.
That's very poetic, and I appreciate that.
It's okay. I've been playing a lot of Disco Elysium, so I know about communism now.
Here comes a question that you're not going to like. Ryan Hank, always 94.
Oh, fuck. All right. No.
What's the oldest pair of underwear you own? I could answer mine.
I have maybe 3 years.
Okay, that's fair.
I have some Gap ones and some. Oh, I used to have some Calvin Klein underwear, and I never will buy Calvin Klein underwear because they just they break apart so badly. Kirkland, I know, but good lord, their boxers amazing, hold up like a fucking.
A goal of mine was to convert my whole arsenal to Lululemon underwear. Happened about a year or two ago.
How much is Lululemon?
A lot. They're Christmas. They're gifts. I'm not paying for them. But my oldest pair, I have a pair, probably 4 years.
Okay.
A Lacoste pair.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. Now we're gonna understand who has the question of the week. The runner-up comes from our friend Lindsay Blaine. If you could take a current Canuck to Guns N' Roses, who would you bring?
Probably Andrei Kuzmenko.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, I don't understand. Why? What is this?
Who's this red-haired man?
Who is this? Why did we not go to the Angel Olsen? And I'd be like, yeah, let's go to Angel Olsen concert, Andrei Kuzmenko. Why not? How dare you think that what Caroline Polachek and Weisblood are coming to Vancouver? You don't think Andrei Kuzmenko's going to the art pop princesses of Vancouver, really?
I don't think he's going to that, no.
What do you think? What kind of concerts do you think?
He's going to some weird underground EDM, country Russian performer.
Yeah, I'm going to take my horse to see a horse. Okay, no.
I know I wouldn't go with JT Miller. because
Yeah,
he'd
you're
get
definitely
he'd
getting
get
COVID.
way too into it.
Yeah, you're definitely getting COVID, dude.
The question-
You're going to Guns N' Roses. You're getting like this mega COVID that no one knows about yet. It's like the Last of Us cordyceps virus, but like the one that like people in the people that are fans of the show haven't seen yet. Yeah,
You're not wrong.
there's a little spoiler alert for people watching Last of Us in season 2. Don't look up the Rat King. Don't look it up. It's gonna fuck all you up in season 2 or 3. Just saying. Yeah.
The question of the week
Goes to
our dear friend Matt Kerr.
Of course it does. The most learned man we know.
The most learned man. There's no
Jack
question.
Dope. Jack Dope.
Jack
Second,
Dope.
yeah.
Who would run a team better, Jim Benning or Chat GPT, which is a
Chat GPT for
chat AI?
Dude, the Tanner Jeannot trade single-handedly, the Nashville Predators single-handedly in one trade acquired like almost as many draft picks as Jim Benning did the entire time he was in Vancouver.
And AI makes decisions based on information and data. And
Are you gonna read this?
I have to read it.
Okay. Do you? Okay, go ahead.
I will read it. So what prompted this? AI would 100% make sensible decisions. There wouldn't be anything catastrophic. There'd be some confusing ones, but then the data would maybe make a little sense.
Gotcha.
So he sent this screenshot, Matt did, to the chat AI, and it was, what can you tell me about the podcast Pucks on Net?
Okay.
Pucks on Net is a popular hockey podcast that covers the Vancouver Canucks and other NHL teams. The podcast was founded by Ryan Hank and Jason Botchford in 2013 and has since grown to become one of the most popular Canucks podcasts available. The podcast features discussions, analysis of Canucks games, players, and management decisions, as well as broader discussions about the NHL as a whole. That's correct. The hosts and guests of the podcast are known for their humorous and irreverent approach to the sport of hockey and offer insightful commentary on the state of the game.
Yeah.
Accurate. Since its inception, Pucks on Net has built a dedicated following of listeners who appreciate the host's honest passion for the sport and their willingness to tackle controversial topics.
Yeah.
Accurate. The podcast also spawned several live shows which have drawn large crowds of fans to venues in Vancouver and others.
Ryan.
Following the untimely passing of co-founder Jason Botchford in 2019, that is sad, the podcast has continued with a rotating cast of hosts and guests. While the show has evolved over the years, its commitment to providing entertainment and informative hockey coverage has remained unchanged.
We are... Can I swear?
Yeah.
Guys, we're all fucked. We're gonna die.
AI.
No, we're absolutely doomed. We're doomed. We're doomed.
Yeah.
We're doomed. We've got maybe 20 years before computers kill us all. Oh, is it time, Ryan?
It's time.
It's time! Because Arash has to go in 10 minutes. But let's see if Ryan can get through trivia.
I forgot. Can you not look at the computer monitor?
Okay, I'm just looking at the hockey game app.
Okay, this should work.
I promise I'm not cheating.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you ready for this week's edition of Pucks on Net Trivia?
Current events?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Axl Rose and Izzy Stradlin.
Oh my god.
So I did try to come up with Guns N' Roses related trivia, but it dried up quite quickly.
Yeah.
I'll give you one at the end of it.
Okay.
But I have a question that I cooked up that will stump and infuriate, and you will also respect
great.
me. Okay. This former Vancouver Canucks captain was acquired at the 1996 NHL Trade Deadline.
Marcus Nowlin.
That's correct. The 2004 NHL Trade Deadline was a dark day in Canucks history.
Mm-hmm.
Which American prospect did the Canucks trade for New York Rangers' Martin Rucinski?
What American prospect?
Yep.
Didn't they trade a second for him?
No, they traded one of their highly touted.
2004. I know that trade deadline because that was like the Jeff Sanderson, Martin Rucinski.
That's right.
Oh God, I don't know. prospect?
Yep, American prospect. He went on to play a reasonably good career in the NHL.
Defense?
Forward. And I'll give you a hint.
Okay, give me a hint.
He hated Ryan Kessler.
Oh, yeah, R.J. Umberger.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They say the best deadline, the best trade deadline day deal of all time was Ron Francis and Ulf Samuelsson to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
What team did they come from?
Say again, Ulf Samuelsson and...
Ron Francis traded to the Penguins.
What team did they come from?
Yeah.
Hartford? No.
That's correct.
Is it? Great, yeah.
This famous son was traded at the 1988 NHL Trade Deadline. The year prior, he was deemed too fat for the Canada Cup team.
Too fat for the Canada Cup team. Too fat for the Canada Cup team.
And that's also a bit of a trick based on this person's international play going forward.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Famous son.
Oh, Brett Hull.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Okay, great. Sick. We're doing pretty good here.
In 2012, the Vancouver Canucks acquired Sammy Paulson from Columbus for Taylor Ellington, a fourth-round pick, and I believe another fourth-round pick.
Yeah.
One of those fourth-round picks turned into this current Montreal Canadian, known for his north-south game. As Arash Momarzadeh said, you can't stop him north-south.
Oh. Is it Josh Anderson?
That's correct.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, okay.
All right, here we go.
Oh, God, okay.
There are 4 current NHL captains that were drafted by the New York Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they?
So there's 4 current NHLers in the NHL right now, or 4 current captains in the NHL. Ah, Ryan, TV, Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yeah.
Who are they? Drafted by the Islanders.
Yeah. Now there's an easy one you can think right off the bat.
Okay, so it's Anders Lee.
Yeah.
Okay. Drafted by the Islanders. Oh, fuck. It's tough because every time I try to go down the NHL list, I can't think. Montreal, no. Rangers, no. Is it Rangers?
No? Well, who's the captain of the Rangers? Jacob Trouba.
Yeah, Jacob Trouba, no.
Think of the Eastern Conference.
Okay, Devils, no.
Who else?
Florida, Tampa, no.
Who are you excited to see? You just mentioned a team.
Oh, Toronto.
Yeah.
Who's captain of Toronto? Oh, John Tavares. Yeah, no, that's good. Okay, shit. But there's 2 more? Oh, my God.
There are 2 more. Do you want a hint?
I don't know. It's kind of cheating.
Okay. One of them
But
is...
I'm just going to be here forever if I don't.
Well, one of them is in the Eastern Conference. Or the third one is in the Eastern Conference.
The third one's in the East. Okay. Let's see. Carolina, no. Flyers don't have a captain. Or do they? Is it Kevin Hayes? But no, Kevin Hayes was drafted by the Rangers.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, no. That's Sid. Ottawa? No. It's Kachuk. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be really upset.
Think Canadian teams.
Okay. So, yeah, let's just go through Canada. So
think Canada adjacent.
Seattle. Oh, Seattle?
No. Eastern
Detroit?
Conference. Canada adjacent.
Eastern Conference adjacent to Canada. So Detroit.
Nope.
What other cities are Minnesota? Who's captain of Minnesota?
Jared Spurgeon.
No, he's drafted by.
He's one of them. You fell back, and he was the fourth one. He's the most difficult.
What?
Yeah.
Jared Spurgeon was drafted by the Islanders?
Yeah.
Okay, who's the third one? Just because I give up.
Okay, who is the most... what NHL franchise deserves the most?
Vancouver Canucks.
American.
Vancouver Canucks. I know my audience, baby. I know my audience. They all want to see a Vancouver Canucks Stanley Cup and Bruce Springsteen lifting it up, baby. I don't know, Ryan. Just tell me.
Well, think about Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Where could he have gone?
Buffalo? And who's the captain of the Buffalo Sabres?
Kyle Exposo.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay. I do. All right. No, I'm pissed off, but good. That was a good trivia. I'm upset, but that was a good trivia. I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, baby. And thank you to the listeners. I hope to talk to you all on Twitter on Friday to see some hot deals. And also Bruce Springsteen doing a Twitter live. And when you watch him, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to really, really watch one thing. His work ethic. Have a good night.